this now. Okay. So nice to see everybody. What I'll do is I'll give you a bit of an update on where we're at and how the proposition at Mirthy has evolved for speakers, and then just kind of summarize where we're at now. And if you've got any questions, just interject anytime. This is really informal. So the proposition has evolved a fair bit since 2020, the beginning of 2020, when we launched, when the focus was very much on club bookings. So that was us getting you, our speakers, as well as all the other hosts, bookings at U3A and WI clubs. And the benefit for us in 2020 of club bookings was some revenue. If you remember, we were charging £50 an event, and half of it was going to you, our speaker. It was automated, it was pre-recorded, it was something quite different that clubs hadn't come across before. And it worked really well during the pandemic. So the benefit for us were we got email subscribers. We call it a growth hack, where the U3A club would book you, but we'd require their members to register with us in order to access the event. There's a bit of noise coming from somewhere. I'm not sure who that is, but do you want to just
all sorts of strange noises off?
Yeah, do you want to mute?
I'll mute. I think everybody mute.
Perfect. Okay. So the benefit for us were email subscribers, and we grew very quickly through the clubs. We grew by 10,000 subscribers and new people through these clubs, and we were able to prove to some early investors that there was a revenue stream there. Now, I'll be really honest with you, on the financial side, we were spending, we still are, between £15,000 and £20,000 every single month. That's our expenditure on team, and I'm not getting paid the world, but it's team and marketing. We spend a lot of money on Facebook ads, around 5,000 to 10,000 a month on ads, and driving people to the website as an acquisition channel. So £15,000 to £20,000 a month we were spending every month, and the clubs at its best was bringing in £2,500 in revenue a month. So the two don't add up really. And it got to a point where we were gaining new followers, but that really started to slow because it was the same people over and over again that were coming back. And so we didn't see that benefit. So from a pure financial standpoint, it just doesn't make sense. Clubs are starting to go back offline. There is definitely an opportunity for a hybrid model of some sort, but in order for it to become viable for Mirthy, we need to be charging at least £150 an event, with 50%, because we would never take more than that. You're the one delivering the talks, with 50% going to you, the speaker. And we have tested that with the new website. It's been live for about 3 months now, or at least 2 months, and we've only had 2 bookings. And those bookings have had a very small number of people that are actually turning up. So they've dried up, understandably. So we tried to take stock of the last speaker update, and it's just overcomplicating things by doing a bit of everything. We're saying clubs can book, and we I ran a campaign with all 1,000 U3A clubs to promote the new website and the fact that they can go onto this amazing catalog with all of your talks. The price point just was too high for them. So we ran that campaign, it just wasn't right. We're also basically a club ourselves. We've now got over 30,000 email subscribers, and 6,000 have got a website account where they're active users that'll come and attend our events. So we're really putting our focus on ourselves as a club, growing our membership. Our goal is to get to 200,000 members by the end of next year, and to deliver an amazing schedule and program of events for those members and really evolve that offering. So it doesn't make sense that you can go onto the website and scroll through page and page and page and see events that you can't book as a member, but you could book as a club, but it's too expensive for you as a club. So we were getting some confusion, and to be fair, I was even a bit confused. So we're really trying to simplify the proposition and just think of ourselves for the next 6 months as a club, as our own U3A, and we want to blow them out of the water in terms of membership numbers and the programming and scheduling of events and other great things we can offer. As a result, we are going to remove the book as a group option on the website. We will hide all the listings that aren't available for our members to join. They're not scheduled as public events. And all the hard work that you put in is not going to be in vain. It's still there, it's just hidden. So when we book you in, we'll just be able to tick a box and that event will show up. And we'll suspend the training sessions because, again, thinking of us as a club, you don't have U3A Warwickshire hosting training sessions for you. And what you do is you have the speaker secretaries, which is essentially Abby, and she'll just book in amazing events for that next month. The goal is to think about 6 weeks in advance for now, and we will be growing to about 25 events a month today. From October, we're going to double that to about 50. I'll come on to the reason why for that in a second. And then this time next year, we'll be at between 120 and 150 a month events. So we really are going to ramp up the number of events, try and get to 5 to 10 a day eventually, 7 days a week. So there will be opportunities and a lot more bookings available. Just for now, if you think about it, we've got about 60 speakers. And if we're only putting on 25 events a month, we're not going to be able to book you in as much as we were able to before with the club model. I'll take a pause there and see if anyone's got any questions.
Alex, I understand the responsibility that Abby will share now in selecting these programs. I mean, as a member of U3A, we have a monthly meeting and we will look at the title and sometimes we think, oh, that's interesting, and we'll go. And occasionally we'll think, well, no, we're not very interested. And then we find that when we actually get there, it really is very, very interesting. But we have a choice and there's no money involved. I'm just wondering how Abby will select the talks and how you can rely on a number of people actually making the booking.
Good question. So we've got a lot of data. My co-founder Drew he's a data scientist, actuary by background, Cambridge grad, maths grad. So he's obsessed with the numbers. And since we launched in March, we've got spreadsheets galore with every single booking. I think it's something like 1,000 bookings since we've launched. And we've got the number of registrations, the number of attendees. We are starting to run feedback surveys at the end of, with the new website, the events. And so we capture all of that data. So if you've been booked before, we have an indication of the popularity. So that will drive some of the decision-making in terms of bookings. Abby is going to be joined by another community manager soon to try and look at a more diverse range of, and it's not just lectures, we're really trying to diversify with belly dancing workshops from Shelley, lots of fitness classes, there's going to be book clubs, cooking demonstrations, entertainment and musical concerts, but the lectures are the things people like the most, so they will still feature the most, but we'll be using the team to try and find a diverse range of hosts to put on events.
So many clubs now, small clubs, U3As, larger clubs, are moving towards live events and grouping and groups together again. And I'm just wondering, I mean, presumably these talks will be aimed basically at individuals rather than groups.
Correct. Yeah, they'll be aimed at individuals. So if you go onto the website now, you'll see an event schedule where people can either purchase a ticket, typically at £2.99, or we'll put them on for free as taster sessions. Now in October, we're building with our developers a membership subscription service, which will launch in October. That will cost around about £5 a month, although we haven't decided on the price point yet. And if one of our members becomes a, let's just call it a premium member, because to be a member now it's free and you pick and choose the events you want to attend. But if people want to become a premium member, they'll be able to get access to all of the schedule of events for free. And that's what we're most excited about. We want to try and get to a couple of thousand premium members by the end of the year, 20,000 by the end of next year. From a business perspective, that benefits us because it's monthly recurring revenue. So it's something good to show the investors. We feel that at £5 to £10 a month, if you were able to access 50 plus events for free, it's a really strong proposition. And then going back to the numbers with the paid events now, so for all of your events, so there's a small ticket fee, we're seeing about 30 to 60 people attending. So we're not making any money on it, but that's fine for now. For the free event that we do every week, we're seeing 1,000 people on average attending it. People love free stuff. Now, we can't continue to do everything for free, but if we were to charge the price of a few cups of coffee a month for everything for free to be able to access 50, 100 different diverse events each month, that's hopefully great for you because you get to reach thousands and thousands of people who are going to be members of clubs and can recommend you for bookings. You also become your own little celebrities within our ecosystem. But it's good for us because we get to grow the number of users. That'll help us reach the 200,000 target, not charging for individual tickets. So that's the big, Joe and Jim, I'll move on to you. Just finish off with that's the big next product development. Again, let's put it into perspective. It's costing us a fair bit of money. We've spent £90,000 on the website and development. It's crazy how much these things cost, but we're building it from scratch. It's all being coded from scratch. So that'll be done in a month's time, which will be the membership launch. The next piece is going to be looking at the offline world and could we create meaningful connections in the community? And so we'd like to test that in the spring of next year. We'd like to test the savings club. Could we use the group buying power of our membership? Let's say at the end of next year, 200,000 strong, to negotiate discounts and deals, maybe with an insurance provider or an energy provider, and lots of other cool things. So it's not just events. We really are just at the beginning of this journey. Joe or Jim, I think you had a question. Go, Joe.
Yeah, I've got an event that I got an email from Abby. I've got an event scheduled now for the middle of September. I'm guessing it's a Zoom event.
Correct.
But I don't understand the process. Am I going to set up a Zoom session and send the link to somebody, or is somebody going to set the Zoom link up and send it to me, or what? Yeah,
good question. So we have our own Zoom Pro account, which we pay for, that allows up to 1,000 attendees per meeting. We'll set it up, or Abby will set it up. Abby will send you the link. Any bookings from now on will be live on Zoom. Just to make things a little bit more complicated, we are still continuing with McCarthy and Stone and the NHS Retirement Fellowship, which is the old pre-recorded model, but we'll be really explicit in a booking email to you to say, this is the old model, and you just need to turn up for the question and answer session.
Okay.
Jim.
Well, you've answered my question, actually, because I was going to ask, from now on, are all the talks to be live via Zoom? Because I was always a fan of the live ones. never a fan of the pre-recorded ones, but that's just me. I prefer the interaction with an audience, whether it be live or Zoom. So from now on, all the talks are to be live.
Correct, unless it's a McCarthy Stone or an HSRF, but they're kind of a couple of times a month, and I'll be really explicit with you in the booking. There, we do have a speaker who just doesn't want to do it live, and his talks are great. So it is possible from a technology perspective to just go on Zoom, share your screen, and hit play on your pre-recorded talk. So it is possible. But what we're optimizing for is that live experience where we can, you can respond to questions live. We can create a bit of a community around your events.
Alex, do you still want recorded talks? If I've got one that I think might be particularly suitable for that, are you still wanting newer ones, or are you happy with the ones you have?
We're happy with the ones that we've got. We've got about 100, and we're not going to be using them unless it's for McCarthy and Stone. I mean, there's a world in the future where we do use it for on-demand content, but what I would say is if you want to record it, because this is your content, every one of your recordings, it's your intellectual property. I'd obviously rather you didn't put it on YouTube, because then why would people come through us? But you can do what you want with it. So Malcolm, if you wanted to record it anyway, because it's just a great piece of content that you've got and you could share with the world, please do so and send it over to us. But I wouldn't recommend just for us doing that.
Alex, we had a discussion with Abby last month about how people find talks on the website and stuff. We were talking about, rather than trying to categorize a talk into very narrow specific categories, and some of the talks overlaid several of the categories as well, we were talking about things like keyword search. So if somebody wanted to search for something on Mark Twain, which is one of mine, they could just put in Mark Twain and I would pop up, as a presentation, or whoever else. And also maybe an idea to separate the, how do you want to phrase it? The lecture type presentations, where I'm presenting the history of the Tower Bridge or something, versus some of the talks I do, which are live. I do a comedy presentation, I do a magic presentation, I do more of an entertainment type rather than a lecture type talk. Or is there work being done sort of in those areas?
Yeah, so the first around the kind of search or keyword search is really interesting, and it's something that you could do in the future. The catalog is going to be reduced dramatically because it's only going to be the events that are booked in. And so, and it's based on the day of the week. So if a member, one of our members, comes to our website in a couple of weeks' time, once we've done made these changes, they would be able to see that your event is on Wednesday at 4 p.m. And so they're really only going to be a couple of events a day. And so the search function is not, there's not as strong a need for that search, because people will be more looking at their availability and saying, I'm available on Friday, I'm keen to attend a Mirthy event in the afternoon, or the event is belly dancing at 4 and a book club at 6. So those are my options. So the need, I feel, is less for that search function. To your second question on categorization, we'll simplify it, and don't hold me to the words, but it will be talk, lecture, entertainment, music, book club, fitness, be very defined categories that you would fall under. But like I say, people will be more coming to the website saying, I'm keen to attend something on Tuesday or Thursday because I'm free, rather than searching for something quite specific. It's worth saying, oh yeah, go on, Stephen. Yeah.
Right, hello Alex, thanks for all this. If you're talking about 60 speakers and we've got, let's say on average, I don't know what it is, 5 talks each, that's 300, you basically got 300 talks in your pool, haven't you?
Yeah. And
everything else being equal, how often would you expect us to give any one presentation? What I'm asking is really, for us, it needs to be reward for effort. But if it's going to maintain at 300 talks, you're going to actually potentially ask us to give any one talk relative. I mean, can you make a projection relatively often? And therefore the reward for effort for us increases the more often we give any one talk.
So the first thing I would say is view us as a club for the time being. We're obviously got really interesting development plans, but view us as a club. And so I don't think you would expect U3A Warwick to tell you how many times they were going to book you over the next 12 months. In terms of numbers, the goal is in October to get to double to about 50 events, by Q1 next year to get up to 120, and in the forecast by Q1 2023, it's going to be around 250 events a month. So hopefully that gives you some sort of quantum and idea of how we're going to increase. So, but it's really difficult for me to then backward engineer it and say you could expect this many bookings.
Well, turning that around, you're doing you're predicting 10 events or whatever it was a day in 2 years' time.
Correct.
And you're saying that the talks are really the big face of Mirthy. And so would, out of those 10, would you anticipate, and who knows what's around the corner, as we found out already, would 5 of those be talks? Really
hard to say. We're very user-led, and none of the team are really within the demographic that we're targeting. So it's I would hate to give you an answer on that, because like I say, we're user-led. So if in a year's time or 9 months' time, when we test offline, we find that people are not that interested in online events in large groups, and actually what they want to do is meet up in people's homes and do more interest-led U3A type learning, or with events in the community spaces, then that's where we'll take Mirthy. But it would be fair to say that the majority are always going to be lecture-based for our online events, because that is what the users want. They want to continue learning, and they're learning something new with these lectures and these talks, as well as being entertained.
So really, you're keeping all your options open, aren't you, to see what works the best? What's going to be the,
yeah, I mean, it's classic startup, test and learn.
Yeah,
and we've already come a long way. To be honest, when I started Mirthy in the beginning of 2019, it was completely different to what it is now. But the idea is to keep listening to our users and develop. And I think we've done a pretty good job so far to get where we are. And there's some really exciting plans to develop. Yeah, go ahead, Stephen.
I guess, yeah, so implicit in my question is, we as speakers put a huge amount of time into recording the talks. I mean, yes, most of us give them elsewhere, so we create the talks, and that's not an issue. They are a resource for other purposes, but the actual recording can be quite a lot of work. And now we're being asked to do little promotional videos. So even doing the promotional video and doing it well is going to take a certain investment in time. If we're only going to give that particular presentation once every 2 years, then the equation is shifting away from, not to put too fine a point on it, bothering.
Got it. That makes sense.
That's really why I'm asking the numbers game. But I appreciate that you don't know quite.
I look at the unintended benefits as well. By focusing on club members, having a third of our database U3A members, and to be honest, the U3As have been the best for us over the WIs and other clubs. We've got all of the chairs and the speaker secretaries and the booking secretaries who are attending as our own Mirthy members. And so there are a lot of unintended benefits from your own brand awareness and getting out there, and your own opportunity to be booked in the future. There's definitely an exciting business to be the booking engine for clubs. And we definitely spent some time looking at the numbers, running customer development interviews with chairs and with speaker secretaries. And we estimate about £9 million a year is spent by clubs pre-pandemic on the monthly speaker, based on the average amount that one would spend. So there's definitely an interesting business, but it's not big enough or exciting enough for us at this stage to focus the little bit of resource that we've got, because it's a very different model. We wouldn't want to be a listing site when we were going through that stage. We'd want to facilitate the full booking through to payments, logistics, parking. And there's a lot of work that needs to go into that. But it's definitely an interesting model that has potential. And so there's a world where Mirthy or someone else takes that on. It's just not for us now, given we're a team of 7 with a lot of freelancers. But you're aware of Public Speakers Corner or Diane Mannering's website, and there's a small update there to say that it's under new management. I'm sure anyone that's involved would get an email, and it's got nothing to do with us, but there is someone that's taking it over from a technology perspective, who's an IT person. And so they're definitely within that space, and there'll be opportunities there, I'm sure. SpeakerNet is another one that are well established. It's just not where we are or fit with our kind of aspirations at the moment.
Yeah, so I didn't make myself as clear as I might. I take all that, but it's the reward for effort for stuff that we do specifically for you. And that's why if every year, let's say I spend an hour trying to get a really good little promo video going, but I only get that talk booked once every 3 years, or I just get it once with you, and then it's done. You know, that's it. You don't feel it. Hopefully, it's reasonably good, but you just don't feel that you're going to do it again. I've spent quite a lot of time creating the video, but you've paid me 75 quid, which, you know, I'm very happy with. But in return for effort, if I know that there's a good chance that you're going to use it and put it out there 3 times in the next 2 years. And I guess implicit in the question is, each talk, is it going to be used multiple times? If it's only going to be used once, presumably you're going to run out of talks, because there's only 60 times 5, only 300 talks. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I get it. So a couple of things. One, if you don't feel the need to do the promo video, you don't need to. We would like to think that it would help sell more tickets, grow more interest. I can't put a number on it, a percentage on it, but if you think that we've got 6,000 active users now, active accounts, and there are 12 million over 60s in the UK that we would be targeting and then going abroad, there's no point playing your talk once today. It's incredibly popular, 30 people attended or 1,000 people attended. And then as we grow, we never play it again. The idea that a percentage of the programming will be recycled, rescheduled events, because we're going after the majority who have never attended a Mirthy event. And so we'd want the best ones to be replayed. There's a balance to be struck that you don't want it to be all rescheduled content, because the diehard members that have attended lots of events are just going to keep saying, oh, I've heard that talk, I've seen that event. But there will be a percentage, 20, 25, 30% a month will be rescheduled events.
Alex, can I ask, via what Stephen was just saying now, have I missed something in terms of this promo video? I mean, he's spending quite a bit of time producing this promo video. I seem to have missed out on this somewhere along the line, because I don't quite understand how that figures.
So on the new website, when we booked you in for an event, or to be honest, on any listing page, on your event page, with the ability to show a video. And what Abby has been working on is asking speakers, but not just speakers, the musicians, the authors, to just record a 30-second preview clip, introduction. This is my name. This is what I talk about in this lecture, and then we can include it in the on the events page.
Yeah, I unfortunately haven't had a chance to do that yet as either. So that'll be done shortly. Yeah, as soon as I get a chance. But yeah.
David, did you have a
Hello.
question? Hi, David.
Yeah, sure. I was wondering if the target audience are being 55 plus. I was wondering if that is still the same, or if you've changed that already, or you're thinking you're going to change that. I was wondering also how much promotion Mirthy does, and is it only to that target audience? And how much promotion, if any, do you expect the speaker to do?
Good question. So our target, our internal target is 60 to 80-year-olds, those that are starting to think about retirement, the first 10 to 20 years of retirement. Now, we don't really like putting a number on it because, I mean, we all feel 10 years younger than we are. So if I go out and we say, well, we're for over 60s, people are going to, someone who's 60 is going to think, oh, that's not for me, that's for the oldies. So we say over 55s, but we've got feedback that you shouldn't put a number on it. It should be more down to the targeting that you do. So there's a lot of brand development stuff that we need to do, but just purely in answer to your question, we are targeting that sort of age range. That's who we're focusing on. In terms of promotion and marketing, our core marketing channel is through paid ads on Facebook. And we spend about £5,000 to £10,000 a month, probably about 5,000 at the moment. We get a lot of referrals, so refer a friend, recommendations is really high with this kind of demographic as well. But those are the two key channels that we've been focusing on. When we launch the membership subscription service, we're also going to start looking at what they call B2B or B2B2C, so business to business or business to consumer. And what that means is going after large groups or organizations like McCarthy and Stone, who've got 20,000 homeowners, or like, I mean, I'm really thinking about the retirement developers, not care homes, but private retirement developers like Audley Villages, or even maybe some of the clubs like the NHS Retirement Fellowship. Insurance providers, think of like Vitality, pension providers, and sell them this community offering where if they pay us a certain amount a month, their clients or their residents or their members can get access to Mirthy for free. So we're quite excited about that, but we'll be starting it later this year, early next year. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, mostly. How much promotion of individual events are you expecting the speaker to do, if any, completely independent of Mirthy? I mean, for example, I have a free talk coming up in September, which is my first one for you. And because it's free for anybody to attend, I feel quite inclined to promote that. My talk has its own Facebook page. So I feel quite inclined to do that. If my talk were being given every week or every month, then I'm not going to be doing promotion because I don't want to do the same promotion, you know, over and over and over. So the amount of promotion I might be willing to do is related to the frequency. But also I don't really want to double up on something that's already being done. So yeah, it's just useful to get a handle on what promotion, if any, you're expecting the speaker to do.
So the short answer is we don't expect you to do any promotion. It would be amazing if you did, because then you get more people turning up to the event and we get more users. So as little or as much as you like, it is really the short answer. There's a world in the future where we incentivize our hosts to share their events and to encourage more people to come. I don't know quite what that looks like in this current club model, but we also do promotions on through our social media. We've got about 3,000 members of the Mirthy, what is it called now? The group on Facebook. And so we will promote the different events, and we're hiring for a social media manager to really take on that resource, promote it through Twitter, probably not LinkedIn, but the other social channels. There will be other promotions through content and blog posts, which again, the social media manager, the content person will be able to help with that. But generally it'll be through social media. And if you want to promote your own event, you're more than welcome to. You can create a Facebook event and share it on your page or with your followers. The more the merrier, but it's not expected.
Okay, I mean, would Mirthy be creating Facebook events for each talk anyway? And could they, could I be on Facebook? Could I be the co-host of that event?
That's a good question. We are intending to create, I don't know if it would be for every event, because I think it would get quite annoying if people's feeds were kind of spammed every day, 2-3 times a day with events, but we're definitely starting to do that. The social media manager will own that space. And I don't know how it works. I'm sure if that's possible, you could make a co-host. Yeah.
Okay. Finally, if I may, you mentioned not long ago about rescheduled events.
Yes.
Am I right in thinking that that's a recording of the previous talk that you're going to play again? And is that an optional thing? I mean, I would much prefer that my talk was always live because it is so frequently updated.
Yeah, so it doesn't mean recorded. Rescheduled just means that if Sandy's Hey Diddle Diddle was booked in today, incredibly popular, in a month's time, we might book it in again because we've grown by 1,000 new people, and those 1,000 new people might, want to see that event. So it just means book you in again for the same talk.
Okay, thank you.
Sandy.
I just wanted to join in on the Facebook advertising because I do have my own Facebook page. And just you mentioned Hey Diddle Diddle. When Hey Diddle Diddle as a free talk was up in July, I actually advertised it on my Facebook page, and its reach, I've just got it here, was 2.2K. Now that actually is great for you, but it's great for me as well, because people are seeing what else I'm putting on my Facebook page. So I would be, well, I've just, the next one I'm doing as a free talk, I put it on the Facebook page as well, because I think it gives me exposure as well as you. So I would recommend it.
Absolutely. And we don't have the skill set in-house now on social media, so that's why we are going to recruit. So, and these things do take time. So it could take a couple months before we find the right person, but it's something that we've spoken to the marketing director at McCarthy & Stone. We had a brand review from a marketing consultancy, and they said the biggest missed opportunity are your Facebook channels, because it's what they would call organic growth. It's free growth. You've got this engaged community, and every Thursday, the amount of comments that come from that free event are numerous and really high in number. And so it makes sense. We've done all the hard work to grow that membership. We should just promote all of the events upcoming rather than relying on paid ads. So yeah, it's going to be a big part of the promotion.
Could I just ask a little question? When we've done a talk or a class or whatever, I noticed, I don't know how much you're supposed to interact on the comments on the Facebook, your Facebook group, etc. Because I noticed after my class, the belly dance class that I did, there was quite a bit of interaction, and I did what I could, but I noticed there was a question, when is it on again? So is that up to me to put that, or is there somebody that's saying that can answer their question and put, yes, it's on such and such a date, or am I supposed to be updating them?
So yeah, it's a good question. It should be us, and we've realized that we need to do that, just don't really have the resource internally. So Abby's going to take on some of that, as well Mahalia, but that's the reason why we want to hire this social media manager, someone that can really own that. So as soon as someone answers a question, they get a response, we can start to, rather than it being one-off comments, this event was amazing, it can turn into more of a conversation. And there's more things that we could do, like Facebook have got their own
but are you happy feature. I mean, I don't want to tread on anyone's toes, so am I okay to let them know the date as well?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. You can all, that group, you remember there, you can all comment, share as you please, but we will have a resource internally that will be in charge of answering those questions as well.
Thanks.
Okay. Any other questions, let me know. But I suppose in summary, what is remaining is an outstanding schedule of live events on Zoom, which we're going to grow quite quickly, booked and scheduled by us, paying £75 each time to the host. So really think of us as a large club, and Abby, Mahalia, and the others are our booking secretary, and they're going to book in the events about 4 to 6 weeks in advance. And we'll just keep you up to date, because like I say, the membership subscription is going to launch in October. There's a world where we do test replays for say 24 hours, because when we were doing that previously, there was a lot of demand. We always get questions from people saying, I can't make 4 o'clock, can we watch a replay? And there are some complexities to that, not from a technology standpoint, but from a kind of copyright, recording people's faces, but it's not insurmountable, and we may very well test that. So we'll keep you up to date on different tests that we're running, and hopefully it doesn't become too frustrating. Anything else that people would like to say or ask? Sandy, yeah.
I'd just like to say, I think you've done an amazing job. I mean,
Thank you.
from where you've started before, and then we went more or less fairly quickly into lockdown, and how you've sort of changed as it's gone along. And I just think you've grown something that is going to be quite spectacular. And I'd like to say, well done.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate it can be frustrating.
Well done.
I'm frustrated as one of the founders, keep chopping and changing and iterating. It's just the world of startups. There's no point building something that no one wants. So thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for being part of the journey.
Well, you've also adapted in most unusual times as well. So, you know.
Thanks, Georgette. I appreciate it. Okay, everybody, lovely to see you. There will be a recording available. If you've got any other questions or something comes to mind, I think my telephone number's on, I'm sure you all have it, but it's available on one of Abby's emails. Just drop me an email or a call.
I'd forgotten you were recording. I was eating my lunch at the beginning because I've not managed to eat it now, which I hadn't.
That's all right. It's going to be available to.
I'm saying that now to apologise to anybody who's going to be watching it in recording. I'm sorry, I was eating my lunch.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.